With just a day to go to India's budget, investors will keep a close watch on how Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will balance expectations with fiscal discipline. The budget on 1st of February is crucial as it will set the tone for the country for the upcoming year. More importantly, it comes when the country's economic growth and demand are slowing, a risk not seen previously by Sitharaman, barring the COVID-19 years. The budget expectations include tax relief for the middle class and also an increase in government's capital spending. With growth slowing, the real question is, where will the government find the money for spending if it limits borrowing as pledged before? The Indian stock market has turned extremely volatile, and the budget with its policies could provide direction and strengthen investors' sentiment. The rupee has also weakened to repeated record lows. So, domestic and foreign investors will eye different sections of the budget policies. In addition to the domestic risks, global uncertainties are also mounting. US President Donald Trump has threatened tariffs, with India also being in the mix this time around. Trump's policies threaten to weigh on world economies and global supply chains. While India's budget would not be able to have a policy response for a prospective threat, everyone will eye if these risks are considered or not. The economic survey report later on Friday will also give a sneak peek into the basis on which the budget policies are likely to be formulated. At least from the budget maths perspective, the questions doing the rounds are, number one, will the budget be able to meet broad expectations and at the same time manage to maintain its promise of fiscal discipline? Or will the middle class finally get any SOPs? A lot is riding on the budget this time around. And well, for more on this, we are now being joined by correspondent Dharamjot Kaur. She is outside the Parliament in New Delhi. Hi Dharamjot. The Finance Minister will be tabling her 8th consecutive budget tomorrow. But today, how is the buzz and what is in store today?
Well, Raisha, it is going to be an action-packed day at around 11 a.m. Indian Standard Time. President Murmu will be addressing a joint session with the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha members to essentially set the tone for the budget session to officially begin. Following that, the Finance Minister will table the economic survey, as you rightly mentioned. It will be tabled separately in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Now, as it's being said, you know, it's tradition in every budget session, the economic survey is tabled to essentially set the tone of what the budget will look like, given several economic and social indicators in terms of how the country has performed in the past year and what is the forecast going forward. Now, having said that, it is going to be a very high-stakes scenario for the government, Raisha, given the fact that this is the first budget of Prime Minister Modi's third term in power. Although with the caveat of him, with the party not being in complete majority, it's a coalition government this time. So different stakes are involved, different stakeholders are involved, Raisha. There is a bit of a cautious optimism in terms of what the buzz is like, cautious being the key word over here, because there are a lot of expectations for relief for the middle class tomorrow in the budget. But all of that depends on what kind of tone is set today in the economic survey, given that there has been a slightly negative outlook in terms of what the economic outlook will be like for the current fiscal year. It's at about 6.6% as compared to 8.2% last year. So with the rupee also falling, a Trump presidency in the United States, all of these factors will play a big role in terms of how the budget turns out tomorrow, Raisha.
Right, Dharamjot, President Murmu will be addressing Parliament, like you mentioned, at 11 a.m. Local time today, with the Finance Minister also tabling the economic survey. Talk to us as to why the session is significant and because it comes a day before the budget.
Well, it's important, Raisha, because, like I mentioned, it sets the tone for what the budget announcements will be like tomorrow. And not just that, it's also going to be a very politically action-packed day, Raisha. It's usually customary that once an all-party meeting is held, which was held last evening, there is going to be a consensus in terms of what other political issues will be discussed in Parliament. Now, the opposition is very keen on cornering the government with respect to the tragedy that unfolded at Mahakumbh a couple of days days ago where 30 people lost their lives. So that is going to be a burning issue that will be at the epicenter of a potentially heated discussion in Parliament. There are about 16 bills that will be tabled during the session, Raisha. Of course, it is the budget session will be held in two phases. So the first phase is expected to see 16 bills being tabled. Amid that, the Waqf Amendment Bill being one of, again, the key contentious points between the government and the opposition. So it's not just the budget, it's not just the socio-economic factors, it's also other burning political issues in the country which will be in limelight starting today, Raisha.
Right, Dharamjo, thanks very much for joining us on the show. We'll, of course, be tracking this very closely with you.